students, how are you?
We are also fine, sir. Thank you, sir.
My dear students, have you ever heard that word was?
Yes, sir.
We are all over the world. Anyone say?
British was.
British was. Very good. Anyone? Babylon classic. Very good. Today we are going to discuss about world wars. That only which is in our history and part 2, 12th lesson of our textbook. The world during the World War. The world
During the World Wars.
According to Eric Hobsbawm and great historians told that 20th century was an extreme age. Many changes were occurred, many consequences were occurred. Among the consequences, one of the great and disaster consequences was World Wars. Now today we are going to discuss about First World War. Before going to discuss, we are going to discuss and study and learn about the causes of reasons of World Wars. One of the causes to First World War, first one is aggressive nationalism. Aggressive nationalism was the positive impulse among the European nations, especially Germany and Italy. The German leaders created among the people victorious Germany ruled all over the Europe among the nations. This was the one of the most aggressive nationalism and impulse. Aggressive nationalism was the one of the causes, one of the reasons to First World War. Now we are going to discuss imperialism. One of the causes, one of the reasons to First World War. Imperialism means newly industrial countries, newly emerged industrial countries, capitalistic system of government countries. They wanted to need raw material and they search another colonies, another countries. We know that India was one of the colonies of especially in which country? Alliances. After the defeat of France in 1870 and 71, around the end of the 19th century, German Chancellor Bismarck wanted to isolate France. That's why he made one agreement and pact with Austria and Italy. This was known as Triple Alliance. What was that?
Triple.
For the purpose of self-defense, France made pact with Britain and Russia. That alliance, that group of agreement was known as Triple Entente. See, among the secret alliances, one was the Triple Alliance, one was the Triple Entente. In Triple Entente, Britain, France, Russia, whereas in Triple Alliance, Germany, Austria and Hungary. These European powers suspicious and jealous situation created among the all European nations, and instead of real peace, they established armed peace. So that's why secret alliances was the one of the reasons, one of the causes to First World War. Militarism. All the European nations believed that one and only best way, militarism, to ensure security and solve all problems. These countries built standing and massive armies among the European continents and among the European nations. They competed each other for war weapons and military army. Nations built standing and major army and always competed each other for war weapons and armed forces emerged and established because of these European nations thought that all the diplomatic problems will be solved by the only army and weapons. Reason was Balkan politics. Around the 1870 and 1890, between the First World War, in Balkan Peninsula, many small kingdoms were there. These kingdoms, many people were living together. Many languages people were there. Many types of people, many sects people were living together. These small kingdoms were under the control of the vast and the largest Ottoman Turkish Empire. After the fall of Turkish Sultan Empire, Germany, Russia and Turkey competed and fought supremacy over this area. Russia and Turkey trying to control Mediterranean Sea and Black Sea. So that's why long time tensed situations created in these Balkan area, especially Ottoman Turkish Empire. Austria always trying to suppress Serbians in Bosnia who were against the rule of Austria. So that's why Balkan politics was one of the reasons to right, very good. One of the causes to First World War. Before these causes and reasons, one and only major and immediate cause was their important cause. That cause name was immediate cause. Immediate cause. On June 28th in 1914, Austria-Hungary's Prince Archduke Franz Ferdinand was assassinated by Bosnian Serbs. Very soon, Austria wanted reply to Serbia. Serbia didn't give any such a reply. So, Austria attacked on Serbia July 28 in 1914. In which year? 1914. Yes. On behalf of Serbia, who participated in that war, those countries were known as Allied countries. Which countries? Allied countries. On behalf of Austria, which countries were participated in that war? Those countries were known as Axis countries. Britain, France, Russia, on behalf of Serbia. Whereas Axis countries were Germany, Austria, Italy. On other hand, USA also jumped into the Allied countries on behalf of Allied countries. And very soon, all over the nations of the world, each and every country jumped into this Holocaust. Name was First World War. This First World was never before happened. The country was never before seen that type of war. So that's why all the countries were participated in that war. We say First World War. First World War was started in 1914 to 1980. Start. We are going to study after the First World War. After the First World War, many consequences, many changes were took place after the First World War. Treaty of Versailles. After the First World War, ending of the First World War, very next year in 1919, Versailles Treaty was done in 1919 in Paris at Versailles Palace. This Versailles Treaty and Peace Treaty pact and agreement was done between Allied countries and Axis countries, victorious countries and defeated countries. Treaty, the Austro-Hungarian Turkish Empire was broken up and dissolved into small pieces. Two was broken up and replaced by democratic government in this Versailles Treaty. In this Versailles Treaty in 1999, all the defeated countries were, especially Germany and Italy, these countries were imposed many penalties like indemnity of war and legitimate taxes, and many more compensation were held on Axis countries by the Allied countries. Nations. What is that? The League of Nations. This Peace International Organization was found in 1920. In which year? 1920. Organization which was established, which was founded, consequences of the Versailles Treaty and First World War. In which year the League of Nations was established? 1920. Two world wars. While First World War was going on, one major revolution was taken place in the world. That revolution name was Russian Revolution. What was that? Russian Revolution. Very good. This Russian Revolution was occurred in which year? In which year? 1917. In 1917. Russia was a vast empire and vast kingdom and vast country which was spread into Europe and Asia. That's why Russia was known as a Euro-Asian power. Comprised Ukraine, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Tajikistan. These countries had in the one of the parts of Russian Empire. The most of the people livelihood was agriculture. So always struggle between feudal lords and agriculture. Most of the citizens were depend upon their livelihood for agriculture. Feudal lords have much land and most peasants paid the rent for cultivate land to landlords. Russia livelihood was agriculture. Most of the citizens depend upon agriculture for livelihood. So always struggles between landlords and peasants. Most of the land owned by the landlords. At the same time, most of the peasants, most of the farmers paid rent to landlords for their cultivation. It was ruled by Tsar Nicholas II. He ruled his empire with the help of army and his bureaucracy. Russian army was the one and only largest army until 1917. It became biggest loser of human lives in the world. A large food amount was supplied during the First World War, whereas it led biggest shortage of food in the cities. In 1917, 10,000 women of the capital of St. Petersburg took out procession demand for peas and bread. And very next, working class also joined them in that protest. Really upset by the protests, he ordered his army to suppress demonstrators instead of demonstrators joining the protest group. In just 2 days, situation became very bad, very sad. Tsar Nicholas II, who was the empire of Great Russia, he abdicated and left from throne. In very soon, provincial government was made in Russia. This was the biggest revolution was took out in 1917. This was also called March 8th Revolution in world history. After the abdication of Tsar Nicholas II in Russia, liberals and aristocrats ruled Russia. These aristocrats and liberals wanted to war against the Axis country. In the Russia, they did not want to continue the war because of all the food items gone to the First World War. At the same time, economy was declined during the First World War. Third, they did not want to continue the war. They organized themselves in councils which were called Soviets. In these Soviets, soldiers were also there, industrial working class also there, and peasants were also there. These common people were united and led by the great Russian Communist Party called Bolsheviks. One leader was emerged. That leader name was Vladimir Lenin. Vladimir Lenin was able to get support of Soviets because of Soviets and Bolsheviks' demands were immediate peace and unconditional peace in the Russia. They also demanded that all the lands of the Russia should be nationalized and redistributed to the peasants. To control over the prices of goods and services, as well as nationalization of banks and factories of the Russia. The leadership of Bolsheviks seized power from the provisional government in October 1917. This was also one of the biggest revolution in the world. So we have discussed two revolutions in Russian history. First was 1917 March 8th Revolution, and whereas second one is October 1917 Revolution. Gradually, most of the nations came under the vast empire of Russia. Union Soviet Socialist Republic set by the Soviet government in 1922. In which year?
1922.
Lenin. In 1924, one another leader was emerged in Russia. That leader name was Stalin. Stalin established in Russia absolute power to put an end all oppositions, and he became an unquestioned leader in the Russian Communist Party. A planned program of economic development with 5-year plans in 1928. This program had led the two policies or twin policies: collectivization of agriculture and industrialization in Russia.
Run.